Guys, what's up? Good Sunday morning to you. It's Brent Abel here, WebTennis.com. Cinco de Mayo. Yeah. All right. Um, Look, gang, what's going on out there today? Hope you got a great schedule for the day. West Coast here, Rancho Mirage, California, the Southern California desert. Got some doubles in the grass this morning at 11 a.m. Pacific time zone. But look, and maybe a little gym time after that, just to kind of make sure, right? Sometimes doubles, yeah, sometimes it's not enough exercise. Usually enough, but sometimes not. So we'll see about today. But it wouldn't be unusual to go out and play 3 sets of doubles and come on in, have a light little snack, and then hit the gym for 45 minutes. Include some stretching in there. Anyway, love to know down below what's on your mind today. What your tennis agenda look like? Maybe your workout agenda look like today, and let me know. So, guys, let's get to it. We are going solo again today. Jeff is he's up in the California foothills, enjoying some fun with some friends and some tennis. So we'll let him do that for the weekend. We will. According to him this morning, we'll see him. We'll see him tomorrow. Let me get this here so we can get a little bit bigger screen here of the video. And so today's title. Well, first of all, what's the right shot? Number 444. Yeah, we're closing in quickly. We'll be there this week. End of the week on 450. Big number. God, it just seems like it's pretty recent. It was just 400. But there you have it. So look, I got a doubles point for you today, and I've got a thought for you in terms of when you're playing a transitional volley, especially a low volley, or transitional half volley. Typically, that's low, right? And especially if you've got an active guy up there in front of you. What's one thing that you can do better to kind of get a better idea of whether or not this guy is going to poach without directly looking at him, right? I mean, if you directly look at him, obviously you lose sight of the ball, and that's frequently not a good deal. So I'm going to take you through this point first. And second serve, by the way, throwing in the high bouncer, opponent runs around it and gets a, I guess what he likes is that's about the height for forehand he likes, Jerry, shoulder high. And he's got a great forehand. And this is a great doubles return to serve in terms of gets down to the feet. And right now, what if he poaches? And so what I want to kind of get in your head this morning is why an early racket prep helps. And let's take a look at this thing again. We'll do this in real time, and then I'm going to slow it down for you, and why an early racket prep helps kind of hedge your bet is really what I'm talking about. So here it is. A couple things happen. Number one is that you get a line on this incoming return early, right? So you have an idea right away as that ball is crossing the net of where your point of contact is going to be. You've already decided because of your place on the court, the depth of that incoming return, you've already decided this is either going to be a volley, it's going to be a half volley, or maybe it's going to be, something slower in the return that actually bounces up, and you want to give it some better geometry by allowing it to bounce up there for you, right? But in this case, I've automatically felt this is going to be a volley, right? And that's based on balance, based on good posture and good balance. As you receive this ball, can you have good balance or posture, right? If it was shorter, and if it was shorter and be more of a half volley, okay, same deal. Then you choose the half volley because you've got great posture and balance to be able to execute the half volley. But in this case, I already know it's going to be a volley. So the early prep is is out of my peripheral when I've got early prep. I've already decided, right, this is going to be a volley. I've already decided where the contact point's going to be. I'm not going to rush it just because I'm nervous about that returner's partner. Because if you rush it, now you just destroy all that good posture and good balance you've got to have when you receive the ball so that you can have good stroke technique. So the early racket prep now does a couple things. First of all, it makes that guy over there in front of you, who's the active poacher, makes him guess a little bit more, right? If you wait too long, sometimes they can read you. They can read what you're going to do. But in this case, with early racket prep, it gets tougher for that returner's partner to read, right? Quote unquote, read where you're going to take your volley. And at the same time, because I know where my contact point's going to eventually be, I can actually, and this is a little tricky, I'm not going to completely lose sight of the ball and look at that returner's partner, but out of my peripheral, I can get a feel, I can get a sense, I can get a read. Now, look, if they throw in a perfect fake poach, this could have been a perfect fake poach. I might have bought it. I might have bought that he was crossing and played it back to him as I did, right? So either look, I can't remember exactly what happened where I actually read because of the peripheral vision. This guy was moving or just guessed or just thought to myself, okay, he's moving. And if he doesn't move, then at least I want to keep the volley low and be able to make him volley up, right? So, and how techie is this volley? It's as untechy as you can get in terms of presenting the ball with a semi-flat racket face, letting it absorb, letting it compress against the string bed, and having a little bit of just a nudge over there, right? And look, in the end, it's a freaking guessing game. I don't know 100% that this guy's going to move, right? I don't know 100% when I decide that I'm going to play this thing over there where he started that he's going to move, but I certainly at some point maybe guess only because out of my peripheral I see some movement, or he's shown me in the past, maybe on 1 or 2 points, that when I've got to deal with a low volley from his partner, a low return from his partner, he likes to move. Okay, so a lot of it's guessing. A lot of it is a best guess, right? And do I need to take this thing that if he doesn't poach, if it's a fake and he doesn't move, do I need to take this in the alley? I don't need to risk hitting this thing wide, right? I don't need to risk going over the highest part of the net over there. And look, again, what do we always say? This is a two-shot mindset. Maybe I'm sensing, maybe I'm reading, but it's not that obvious at this point that he's going. So we're going two-set mindset shot choice. We're playing it assuming he's going to be there, and if he doesn't go, thank you very much. What's on your mind? Hey, Rich, good morning. Mark, good morning to you as well. KJ, good morning to Ravi. Nice to see you. Been a little while. Always nice to see you on the live portion of this show. And so hope that makes sense, guys, that the message today is this, which is early racket prep really helps. And I've been thinking about this lately. I want to do a series on why early racket prep, all the different benefits. Right now I've come up with 5 different benefits, which I'll get into later this week. And let you know what I think are those benefits of early racket prep, whether it's return to serve, whether it's a ground stroke, whether it's an approach shot, whether it's like this, a volley, whether it's an overhead. I think that there's there's a lot to be said for why we should absolutely spend a lot of time training early racket prep. And I'm going to get into that this week. Who we got here? Susanna, hard to see from here, but as the guy cross a bit far back near to the service line, did that impact your choice? And that's a great question. And I would tell you that if you're going to poach on this, that the best way to do that is starting in the service line. That's where I like to start. But if I've decided that I'm going to poach, well, then I'm going to take an angle towards the net. This one looks like he doesn't really do that, right? He kind of goes parallel to the net. But the other thing to consider too is that if you decide to fake poach from the service line, take a jab step, not necessarily to your side, take that jab step forward and then come back. And now you're where you want to be, which is going to be, right there in the middle of the service box as opposed to too far back, right? So that's a great question, Susanna. Love that. And you're right. It's a little bit too parallel in terms of that movement. But no, that did not have any part of my shot choice. Miss Cates, good morning. C-Star. Cinco de Mayo. Good to see you, kid. Love you. Kev, good morning. The transition part of the game has so many choices, and yet we want to really try to make sure that we have a small shot choice menu with this shot. Look, my two shot choices basically on this volley are going to be either cross court or at where I think the guy is, right? So if he moves, I don't need to flirt there with that double sideline, just to kind of hedge my bet. Well, if he doesn't move, now at least maybe I'll hit a winner. I'm not thinking that way. I'm always thinking two shots. Obviously, if you go cross court, you're thinking two shots, right? And the other thing to be thinking about here is that if you decide on this volley that you're going to go cross court with it, that again, such an early racket prep now helps make swing tech so much more minimalist, which we like. The less, the better. The more swing tech you got to bring into this because you've either prepped late or you've committed late to whatever your shot choice is, just makes it tougher. So again, if I go cross court in this, again, thinking, let's keep it low. Doesn't have to be deep. Why does it have to be deep? It doesn't have to be, especially against someone who, and this opponent has shown over the years that he likes to play that forehand as a ground stroke. So if I'm going to play this ball back cross court, it's going to be low. It's going to be relatively slow and pretty short, right? So that if it gets past this returner's partner, now maybe that guy cross court's got to move up. And if he's going to bang it with the forehand, he's going to have some tricky geometry. If he's going to lob it from well inside the baseline, he's got a shorter distance to use, right? So hope that all makes sense. Mr. Brody, good morning, sir. Good to see you. Oh, Mr. Peabody. Okay. That could be, oh my God, is that? Might be. Anyway. Guys, look, I'm going to let you go. Hope you like today's video. If so, please click the like button over at YouTube. Hit that subscribe key or button or whatever. Make sure that you click the notification bell. Always alerted anytime I go live like this morning and or upload new content. And yeah, if you've not yet picked up my between points routine, you got to get it. It's 80% of the match. The reality is 80% of the time during our matches is on average spent between points and or side changes. So look, if you are not managing the 80% of the match really, really well in a disciplined way, guess what? The 20% of the time we're playing points, we don't tend to be consistent. We don't tend to have as much confidence as we could if we really manage the 80% of the match well. So look, if you're brand new, nice to have you here this morning. Go on over to webtennis.com, drop in a first name and email address. You get immediate access to a private but no charge. 20-minute video that details my 4 step-by-step between points routine. And look, guys, if you've got this thing, if you've got the video, you need to be making sure that you're reviewing it on a regular enough basis to make sure that you're practicing this thing, because this is not instinctive. It's not natural. It's not something that you can, in a tight, close match, all of a sudden go, oh yeah, I got to use my between points routine. At least for me, it never ever worked that way. I have to, especially, if I've got a first round match and I've got an opponent that I think I'm going to win the match 100% of the time, I don't want to get sloppy, right? I just don't want to get sloppy. I want to make sure that I'm staying disciplined, not only during that match, but also as a carryover for hopefully the rest of the tournament as well. So guys, get on over there if you've not picked this up yet. To WebTennis.com. All right, that is it for me today. I hope this has been helpful. As always, we got to get out there. We got to help another human being have a spectacular day. Guys, see you again next time.